Nostalgia is one of the most powerful emotions we experience. It's comforting, bittersweet, and sometimes even a little deceptive. It has this unique ability to take us back to a time that feels simpler, safer, maybe even better than the present. But why does it hit so hard? It's not just about remembering the past, it's about the emotions that are tied to it. Nostalgia can fill us with warmth and joy, making us relive moments of happiness, but it can also leave us feeling wistful, longing for something we can never fully get back. It's that mix of comfort and sadness that makes nostalgia so compelling, and it's exactly why we keep chasing it. It can also come with strong feelings of dread, of longing for a time and/or a place when things were simple. I often have feelings of nostalgia towards my childhood years, wishing I could go back to a time that was so much easier. No adult stresses, no anxieties, no financial burdens were in my mind, but rather enjoying the early 2000s with a wonderful bliss that I don't know I'll ever feel again. Liminal spaces are transitional or in-between places that evoke a sense of being caught between two states. These spaces often feel familiar, yet strangely empty or frozen in time, creating a strong sense of nostalgia, unease, or longing. Common examples of liminal spaces include abandoned malls, quiet hallways, empty parking lots at night, or even foggy roads leading to an unclear destination. Beyond physical locations, liminal spaces can also represent life transitions, such as moving from childhood to adulthood or between major life events. They capture a feeling of uncertainty and change, making them both intriguing and deeply reflective. Without evoking feelings of nostalgia, I don't think liminal spaces would have become as popular of an internet phenomenon as they are today. What would be special about this photo if it didn't bring up memories of going to birthday parties, playing some games, jumping on trampolines, and just having the time of your life? It probably wouldn't mean anything and would just show some outdated carpet that probably hasn't been vacuumed in like 10 years. Nostalgia is the driving force behind liminal spaces and subsequent horror genres from liminal spaces such as the Backrooms, the Oldest View, etc. One game that utilizes nostalgia really well is that of LiminalCore. LiminalCore is an indie horror game that utilizes elements of liminal spaces, the backrooms, the pool rooms, which is Backrooms level 37, and more to create a unique experience that relies on one thing and one thing only: atmosphere. The developers of LiminalCore strayed from using cheap jump scares to scare the player, but rather rely on creating an atmosphere that feels completely strange yet so familiar. The entities lurking in the background are very minimal and almost unnoticeable except for a few areas. The architecture is uncanny and borderlines on insanity. Nothing about this place makes any sense, and it leaves the player with more questions than answers. Rather than just thinking, how did I get here? You start to wonder, why am I here? Why the hell does a place like this even exist? How does a place like this even exist? The design of each room is something that could only exist in a dream or a nightmare. The game uses the atmosphere to cultivate a slow burn, psychological horror. Contrary to the thousands of games now trying to monetize off of your pea-sized brain with the attention span of an ant by just throwing loud noises at your every turn, LiminalCore makes you feel like you are slowly losing your mind. The contorted and overlapping mazes make you feel like every direction you take is the wrong one. You could be walking in circles over the course of 30 minutes and never realize it because of how similar each path looks. After some time has passed, the levels feel suffocating, as if escape is merely fiction and you are truly looking for nothing. LiminalCore sets itself apart from the hundreds of other Backrooms games for a few reasons. The visuals of the game are unreal in a really good way. The lighting effects are spot on, the texture quality is incredible, the water physics is amazing, etc. I really could go on and on about the graphics for quite some time. Outside of the visuals, which are absolutely stunning, the audio design is incredible too. The only audio that you have is your footsteps, some environmental noises like the splashing of water or the clicking of tiles, and the movement of a few things in the shadows. It is unclear, however, if these are actual entities that lurk in the background, or if it's just the progressive loss of sanity taking place as you continue to wander, desperate to find any sign of an exit. And of course, the main thing that really stands out with this game is the world building and atmosphere of the game. The rooms, hallways, pools, everything looks mostly empty, but there's always the thought in the back of your head wondering, am I truly alone? Sure, there are some strange anomalies like houses that can be found in certain areas, uncanny mannequins, both of the normal and massive variety, but I haven't seen for certain that there is something else here, except for the big snake, but I don't know if that was really a hallucination or what. LiminalCore captures the feeling of being stuck in a dream, unable to discern what is reality or not, or even unable to wake up. The only option is to keep moving forward, to find an escape, to progress to the next chapter. With that being said, let's take a deep look at the levels of LiminalCore. There are currently 4.5 available levels in LiminalCore to play through, each providing a unique atmosphere to traverse and explore. You're probably wondering, well, how the hell is there half of a level? That would be because the first level is technically split in two, but we will take a look at the second half in a bit. The first level of LiminalCore is derived from level 37 of the Backrooms lore, which is the pool rooms, a seemingly infinite maze of white tiles with pools of water strewn about. I swear, just by playing this level, I can feel what it's like to be in these rooms. It feels warm, too warm and way too humid. The only thing that could possibly provide any sort of comfort would be the water, except that's too warm too, 87 degrees to be exact. And the air has a thick, suffocating scent of chlorine. Your goal is to find a way out of this place, but you soon realize that the way these rooms and hallways are built doesn't make any sense. You keep finding yourself at a crossroads. Do I go down this hallway or go down the other? There are so many possibilities you feel paralyzed by the amount of options, but you just keep pushing along, and soon you find yourself coming across a water slide. In pristine condition that looks like it came straight from your favorite water park as a child. Well, obviously, we're going to go down that, because that's got to be where I need to go, right? Except when you get to the bottom, you're presented with more choices, more crossroads, more slides. That is, until you come across a house in the middle of a massive pool room, with a ringing phone and mannequins sitting all around it. Except once you go in and explore it, you start to realize it's yet another dead end. Rinse and repeat, get lost and find yourself over and over and over again until you finally found the exit. That is the beauty of level 1. It's a challenge of endurance. Eventually, you will find the exit, but you have to remain persistent enough to get there. Finally, you come across the threshold that you need to cross to progress to the next level, the big red slide. This slide is much larger than the other slide, and it brings you to the sublevel of level 1, which is the Childish pools. Yet another maze of pool rooms to progress through, yet this time there's more childlike elements, like children's statues that belong in a water park for young ones. You yet again keep walking and traversing the rooms to discover a huge children's slide leading into the abyss, and into the abyss we will go. On level 1 and the sublevel, there are some notable characters that are pretty fun, although I wouldn't say they're entities since they're mostly inanimate objects. Mostly, that is. These characters include the statues, frog heads, Herbert the Flower, normal frogs, giggles, and eye flowers. These statues are capable of making noises, however they don't move. Frog heads, Herbert, and eye flowers are all capable of following you with their eyes, or their one eye, and giggles can laugh when you're not looking at it, sometimes even moving around the area. However, again, I believe that the large possibility is that these characters are not living or entities, but rather you are slowly slipping more and more into a psychosis episode the longer you explore this level. There is one thing that appears to be living on this level, which is a huge snake that's body can be seen slithering across some of the slides. However, the snake never gets too close. It never reveals itself fully to you. It's just hiding in the shadows watching your every move. So I guess we'll never know whether or not the snake truly is alive, or if it's a figment of our imagination. One of my favorite pool rooms depictions in a video game up until this point was level 37 from Backrooms Escape Together. However, LiminalCore's level 1 now takes the cake for that spot. Now that we've taken the slide into the abyss, let's see where it takes us. Level 2 is known as Faded Memories, and it is made up of a series of hallways, normal rooms, and playrooms. The hallways don't make any logical sense, as they contort and don't follow the laws of physics. The rooms look to be a classroom or one of those party rooms at a children's party center where you eat pizza and you eat candy and cake and do all those fun things. The playrooms look like the actual kids' party place, though, complete with ball pits and large padded jungle gyms. Fun fact, it took me like 30 minutes to find out what to call these play structures until finding out it's literally just called the jungle gym. Level 2 is based on Level 18 from the Backrooms lore, where the wiki states, Level 18 presents itself in a unique form to each wanderer. It is similar to a normal kindergarten, and it also appears as a lifeless, eerie recreation of the wanderer's memories during early adolescence. The environments in this level vary greatly, as one would expect, being able to manifest either indoors or outdoors, representing various places from the wanderer's past, with major examples being homes, schools, parks, or cars. The thing that strikes me deep to my core is, even though LiminalCore is just a game and the level design isn't going to change based on my lived experiences, I do feel like this level is ripped directly from my memories. I feel like I've actually been here before. I feel like the parties I attended as a child took place in a space so similar to this that it's unnerving. The goal of Level 2 is similar to that of Level 1. Continue moving through the maze until you find the gateway to progress to the next level. However, this time you have to traverse the jungle gyms methodically, as you can easily find yourself in a loop. There are gymnastics pads that block some of the walkways, and without the ability to jump, you must treat these structures as a maze. Level 2 does include many of the friends that we met on the previous level, but it brings 2 new ones to the party, no pun intended. The first is the clown face, which is pretty well explained by the name alone. It is a face from the popular clown emoji that everyone uses to put some disrespect on someone's name, and it can laugh at you, which further adds to the disrespect being put on you. The second new friend we get was thought to be a bug in the game where balls would go flying out of the ball pit randomly, but would later be revealed as the ball pit stalker. This little guy hides in the ball pit and, contrary to their name, tries to actually hide from the player. When the stalker moves, balls from the ball pit can go flying. Level 2 is one of those levels that really evokes the strongest feelings of nostalgia for me. It evokes the dread of knowing I'll never be a kid again. As I am now a father of 2 tiny children, I do get to witness the magic of being a child through their eyes, and for me, it's one of the most beautiful things to see and protect. Also, it is pretty cool that like every indoor play gym that we take the kids to has a very liminal vibe to it, so that's pretty neat. After successfully navigating to the end of Level 2, however, you can continue onto your journey to Level 3. Level 3 is very reminiscent of Level 1. You start off in another complex of pool rooms, however this time something is noticeably different. Contrary to the bright, natural, almost sun-like lighting that can be found on Level 1, Level 3 has no natural lighting at all. In fact, almost all of the rooms are devoid of light, except for the ambient pool lighting that is often found underwater. This level, known as the Infinite Stairs, is something that is a unique take on 2 different Backrooms levels. The basis for this level is Backrooms level 37.5 and level -37. Level 37.5 is known as Liminal Illumination. It's a sprawling complex of pool rooms that are illuminated by ambient lighting. It's an incredibly relaxing environment that's meant to draw the player deeper using its serene properties. Level -37 is pretty similar to 37.5, also darker natural lighting with ambient lighting and relaxing properties. Another thing that is immediately noticeable when you enter Level 3 besides the lighting is how much larger the rooms are. In Level 1, the rooms and hallways are rather small and tight. They're not claustrophobic, but they're not big either. Level 3's rooms, however, are much larger and appear to be built for a creature much larger than you. After wandering around the rooms and hallways for quite some time, you find yourself coming across a gargantuan object hidden underneath a large cloth. I believe that this is one of those larger-than-life mannequins, just at a scale that we haven't seen before. However, this isn't confirmed. Continuing on, you find yourself progressing to an area that is a massive maze of stairs, hence the name. It is in fact not infinite, but it feels like an infinite set of stairs going in every which direction. There are defined paths that lead you to your destination, but many more that will lead you to falling into the void. After finally getting to the end of the maze, you find yourself scaling a thin staircase with a sheer drop on the other side, which ends up leading you to a huge hole in the floor with a children's slide leading straight down into the void. There is no other way to go but down, so bravely you step up and you take the plunge. After falling for several seconds, you awake to a loud thud, red illumination coming from the walls, and a large concrete set of corridors. After progressing forward, you are met by what looks like living flesh? The deep, pounding sound of a heartbeat fills your ears, but it makes no sense. You continue doing what you've been doing this whole time. You continue to navigate the maze and try to find an escape. But this time, something feels entirely different. Why is there life matter in a space that is completely devoid of life? You come across a dark hallway, and after entering, you begin to hear voices. Multiple voices, all whispering to you incomprehensible words. You come to the conclusion that you're in hell, an inescapable nightmare with suffering beyond your comprehension, and your conclusion is correct. Based on Backrooms level 666, level 4 of LiminalCore is commonly described as the universally accepted definition of hell. The Backrooms level is subjective and is prone to change depending on the individual that is in it. However, it is always described as distressing. After wandering your way through the red corridors, you finally come across the core of not only this level, but of the entire game. A large, beating heart at the center of it all. This place isn't just a dream. It isn't some mysteriously constructed building to torment you. It's a living being. And if there is a life force behind this place, then there's a very likely chance that it is sentient. The existence of this place is to mess with you, to give you the illusion of an escape, knowing that it continually leads you deeper and deeper into its clutches. It leads you further and further away from any possibility of an escape. Did you notice how up until this point, every time you fall off a ledge high enough to certainly kill you, you somehow end up standing back on the ledge like you never jumped? Instead of just respawning at the start of the game, you are right to the point where you would have been if you didn't try to take your life. Your mental well-being is deteriorating here, yet there is no means of actually reaching the bliss of death. The entire universe in which LiminalCore exists in is my own definition of hell. LiminalCore is an incredible game. It's taken something that is often seen as the most mundane task in video games, which is walking, and turned it into an engaging experience that very few games offer. It's aesthetically beautiful, but has a stark contrast of horrifying audio and causing a dreadful emotional experience for the player. I know that LiminalCore has its place among one of the greatest Liminal games of all time. However, it doesn't feel like all of the other Backrooms games that are out there, which is a really good thing. When a market becomes so saturated with an entirely similar experience, it can quickly burn the market out and make the concept just feel dull. LiminalCore has somewhat revitalized the Backrooms game market by offering an experience that truly does stray from the norm with the constant jump scares, overused rooms, etc. But I'd love to know your thoughts on the game and the market as a whole. If you made it this far in the video, seriously, thank you so much for sticking around. I greatly appreciate your time, and I hope that you'll join me for future content on horror gaming in general. I will see you in the next one, and you better hope to God you don't find yourself in this infinite nightmare of LiminalCore.